the Young Leaders Society along with Kyle Jensen. I have been involved with United Way either as a client or as a staff member of a partner organization or as a volunteer for most of my life. I was thinking about that, and it really goes back quite far. So I'm glad that everyone on the call is involved with United Way as well, and that we're all a part of this organization. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes for everyone over the past couple months. This phone call is proof of that. You know, when we first started talking about this was an in-person event where we could all get together and share a meal and shake hands. And now pretty much all of that is off limits. That's bad. We're not doing that. But at least we can still meet in this capacity and get some information going here about United Way. So our goal for today is really to share important information about YLS and what the United Way does in our community and what it means to be a part of this group. If I'm honest, I was probably a member of YLS for 3 years before I really figured out like, oh yeah, like that's what this means. But now I got it. So if you're new to YLS and you're just joining us, you're already ahead of the game by getting involved with this. Today, we are going to discuss the United Way, the work that the United Way of Central Florida is doing during this pandemic and ways that you can get involved. And you're going to hear from United Way staff members, YLS members, and we're just going to share what's going on with the organization. And so hopefully we're going to learn a lot today. So I'm going to turn it over to United Way of Central Florida staff member, Danielle Baker.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angel. Happy Friday's Eve, everyone. So glad you all are on. I'm just so excited to be a member of YLS and to be able to learn more about Young Leaders Society, about United Way. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Basically, for United Way Central Florida, we make it as easy as ABC. With the dollars that are invested into our community, we amplify those dollars. So we reach out to grant fundings, and every dollar that you give to us is amplified. So that's huge. That's taking a little bit and stretching it a long way. We are your philanthropic brokers. So not only do your gifts financially make a difference, but your time and your talents also go a long way. The beauty about United Way is that we have 7 different initiatives that make a huge difference in our community. And we broker services such as early childhood education, academic achievement, financial stability, health, the George W. Jenkins End Hunger Initiative, which we'll get more into that a little bit later, Community Partnership School at Crystal Lake Elementary. It's our first one, but there could be more to come. And basic needs. Oftentimes, we see that some of our community members get involved with United Way through the basic needs opportunity, whether it's rental assistance or needing utility services or just absolutely needing a place to stay. And that's absolutely okay, because here at United Way, our mission is to improve lives and strengthen our community. And we do this day in and day out by helping to break the cycle of poverty and creating a cycle of success. And oftentimes it takes multiple services to do that, which is why we convened with other local partners and leverage those services to make the biggest impact. The beauty about United Way, another beauty about United Way, is that we create such a disruptive model. And when I say disruptive, it's the dollars that we raise through Polk, Highlands, and Hardee County are not allocated by United Way staff members, our board members, or even our CEO. In fact, it's individuals like you, 7-Eleven associates, Publix associates, stay-at-home moms, teachers, lawyers. Yes, these are the very people who take a strong look at all of the services that we fund in our community. And they will take a look at the services, determine if the need is still needed in our community based on our community investment steering team, and they allocate the dollars appropriately. So we definitely lean and leverage on the knowledge and the feedback from all of our volunteers, and this is so powerful. The community investment teams are focused on the different initiatives, and it only takes 25 hours of your time over a course of 3 months. So I have had the opportunity of being a part of the community investment team, looking at 3 or 4 services at a time for my 25-hour allotment. And it has definitely been an eye-opener. And it definitely see the services that are being met for our most vulnerable community members. So I definitely challenge you all to learn a little bit more about Community Investment Team. I'll be on the line a little bit later if you're needing more information. And now I'll pass it to our Vice President of Marketing Communication, Catherine Fitzwater.
Thanks, Danielle. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share a little bit about what United Way has been doing throughout the current situation with the coronavirus pandemic. We were blessed to launch earlier this year the George W. Jenkins End Hunger Initiative. That initiative launched officially in late February, early March, just as the pandemic was beginning. And little did we know that initiative was going to be a great blessing to many in our community as we began to see the needs double and triple over the coming weeks of needs for food and financial support of individuals who were directly affected by the coronavirus pandemic and losing their jobs or being furloughed. So we've been able to see, we now have 17 sites throughout Polk County, and we are working to have additional sites in Hardy and Highlands. We just had 2 drops a couple weeks ago in Highlands County, where we were able to serve over 500 cars of families, and it's been incredible to see the amount of people who are coming out there who never believed that they would ever need to be in a food line. So it's been a huge initiative that just the timing of that was incredible. Additionally, we've been able to hand out books at many of these distributions to provide books to children who may not have them, who are now having to do school from home. We've been able to partner with groups like the Polk County Board of County Commissioners to work on additional funding opportunities that will be distributed to individuals who need rent, utilities, mortgage payment assistance, and additional financial assistance. We've seen our calls to 211 service triple and quadruple over the past few weeks, with additional people needing mental health resources, financial resources, and those food resources. We have a number of online resources that are available to the community. We have an in-depth list of COVID-19 resources on our website. Our Family Fundamentals and Success by 6 team have been creating online education resources through our Facebook and YouTube channel. So anyone who has little kids at home, if you want to check those out, there's some fun activities geared towards kids around 5 and 6 and under. So there's some really fun activities on there for them to enjoy. We've been able to partner with some amazing groups like the George Jenkins Foundation to provide additional funding to support those families who need that additional assistance for childcare, because they are essential workers who have to go to work every day, cannot stay home, cannot do their job from home. Like many of us are blessed to be able to work remote, but not everyone has that opportunity. So those essential workers have been able to receive those additional resources through groups like the YMCA. I know Stacy Walsh is going to talk a little bit more about that later. And then it's been amazing to see all of our partner agencies collaborating, pivoting, just really getting creative in how they can address the most pressing needs of the community. We've been working with, we've seen churches, healthcare groups, nonprofits, everyone just coming together to try to figure out how we can collectively best serve the community. So that's been really incredible. And just listening to all the partner agencies get on Zoom calls and collaborate and see what everyone's doing has been really cool to see. So there's definitely a lot of bright spots going on in the midst of all the stress and craziness that I know a lot of people are feeling right now. So I think I covered most everything, so I'll pass it off to Jes now.
Hi everyone, I am Jes Garcia. I am the staff lead for the YLS group. I'm going to talk about engagement opportunities. So now that you're here in this call, we thank you for taking up your time and participating in this Lunch and Learn. We want to move forward and have more Lunch and Learns like this one. So we would love to hear your opinion about what would you like to hear about? What are you interested in learning about? And how can we serve you? Also, if you participated in our Aprons event last December, YLS adopted the George Jenkins and Hunger Initiative. And we were able, those donations were able to serve in this time right now, like especially right now when everybody's needing more, I'm sorry, everybody is attending those food drops. Those donations that we were able to raise during the Aprons event are being utilized now. So we are so grateful for that. Also, volunteer opportunities. In regular times, when we are able to interact with one another, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities where we go to our partner agencies and serve them. That way you could see firsthand how your dollars are being invested in the community. Also, we like to write thank you cards when we participate with Visti, so they could use those cards in their deliveries for elderly in our community. So there's a lot of ways that you could be engaged with YLS, the YLS group, and meet more of our membership. Right now, when everything's virtual, we encourage you to participate in our resilience rally that is happening during in social media. So you can connect with us via Facebook. We have a volunteers group. We have a YLS group in Facebook, and also our UWCF Instagram. So there's a lot of ways that you could communicate with us, and we would love to hear about you. So now I'm gonna leave with Angel Davis.
I'm going to remember to unmute myself again. So I am going to introduce Stacy Walsh. Stacy is a graduate of Lakeland High School and continued her education at Florida Southern. She's a lifelong resident of Lakeland, and she's been with the YMCA for 24 years, minus a few years that she tried her hand at teaching at All Saints Academy. She was approached to return to the Y in a development and marketing position, and she's been serving as the Chief Development Officer since that time. She also serves on the board of the Junior League, Pace Center for Girls, and SPCA Florida, as well as being on the steering board for Bonnet Springs Park. And Stacy says that she loves the United Way and all that the United Way does for the community. So Stacy, I'm gonna give it to you now.
Okay, so I was asked to join this luncheon today and talk a little bit about the impact that this has had on the YMCA and our community, and how the United Way has stepped in and really assisted us in providing funding and services to a lot of our clients and a lot of our members, and a lot of things that we probably wouldn't have been able to do and pivot as quickly as we did if it was not for the help of the United Way. So I was a member of Young Leaders Society a couple years ago. I ended up taking on a new role at work, and I became the lead for our Pace Setter campaign. So I was in charge of rallying all of our staff to give back to the United Way, and we always would do it kind of earlier and do it through the Pace Setter option. And it was really great for me because before, you know, the Y, we receive the funds, and so the thought of getting our staff who work part-time, and a lot are college students and some really live paycheck to paycheck, to even give $1 of their paycheck would almost seem like a daunting task for some of these. I remember how it was with ramen noodles, you know, in college. So, you know, $1 went a long way. And so since the time I took that over and just learning so much more about the United Way and what they really do throughout our whole community, not just our YMCA, I was able to go from basically a 1% donation rate to we actually give 100% of our full-time staff donate to the United Way campaign. Now, it's not, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people like some of those bigger companies, but to have a nonprofit that we can at least get all of our full-time staff behind. And so slowly we've been getting our part-time staff to donate to that campaign every year too, because we're really seeing the impact that you guys have in the community, whether it's through you know, your food drives that you've been doing, whether it's through the funding that you've been providing for and helping us get for our childcare services. We've been able to see those dollars and see you guys be a good steward of those dollars for the past several years that I've been in this position. So I want to thank you guys for that. And for those of you that don't know, the relationship between United Way and the YMCA, it's been a very long relationship. We've been running a YMCA READS program for years. We used to have several sites in Polk County, and then our government funding was cut, and we had to go down to one site. So we have like 7 sites in the county, had to go down to 1, and United Way came in and have been very graciously helping us fund this program over the past, oh my goodness, 10 to 15 years we've been running it. And Angel's actually on that CIT committee, and we had our little meeting a couple of weeks ago. But we've been working with United Way in that program, and also being able to be that bridge between our clients and our members and our people in our YMCA community in need, helping them reach out and get resources through the United Way. And we have a lot of employees that were recipients and were kind of like Angel growing up, you tell your story. We have a lot of our Y families that have the same story. And so it's really great to be able to be that bridge to kind of be from, the Y, and then offer them some services through the United Way. So when we found out that we were going to have to close our membership facility, we were pivoting our services. We were reached the health department, the sheriff's office, fire department. We were getting bombarded with requests. What can you do? Schools are closing. There's no childcare. Our nurses have to go to work. Can you help us? And we were like, that's what the Y is here for. And yes, we can. So within 24 hours, we pivoted our services from member services to full childcare facilities. 24 hours. So we offer care from 6 in the morning till 6:30 at night. Some kids don't get picked up until 7 based on, if their parent has a 12-hour shift. Sometimes they're a little late. We stay open and accommodate for them. We are charging a minimal fee, and we don't turn anybody away due to inability to pay. So we have some that are coming and they're not paying anything. We have some that, if you divide it, they're paying $1.10 an hour, $1.10 an hour for their child to come. So we, at the Y, it's kind of an interesting, we are very dependent on this grant funding to be able to offset those costs for those families in need. We have obviously utilities, operational costs that we have to pay in addition to our staff. And other than that, we are not making a surplus. So we could not do this and run this program, though, if it weren't for the gifts that we've received from the United Way, the grant funding, and also through another one of our foundations that we work with and give well. So with all of that funding combined together, we've been able to offer this program, and we've had over 400 children through our program since the middle of March. And we anticipate that doubling once school is officially out. We've got to keep our numbers 1-to-9 ratio, so that'll be interesting for right now. But yeah, so that's a little bit of what the Y has been doing, and we really could not have continued without having the funding to be able to offer this program and not turn anybody away because they can't pay. So it's a little bit of information about what the Y has been doing, and we thank you so much for your support of our program and for your support of programs all around the county, Tri-County. Are there any questions about anything that the Y is doing, or anything that I can answer maybe?
Stacy, have you found that the people that are utilizing the childcare the most are like essential workers, like grocery? Like, I know that with Publix, that's a huge thing, not having anywhere to put kids right now with so many of the places closed. And are they mostly younger kids, or are you seeing a whole range?
Yeah, so our kids are programmed in Lake Wales. We have a program, and we have infants in Lake Wales all the way through 12. That's our only facility that is licensed to have the babies, and it's hard, but our nurses or CNAs at Advent. They're also essential workers that had to go and work out, you know, on farms, migrant workers, very low income demographic we have. We have two ends of the spectrum. We have those that can afford and probably pay for the child next to them, and that's not, and then we have others that really can barely afford, you know, the services. And so basically we, you know, we have kids that range in age from the babies up through 12 in Lake Wales. Our other branches are 5 through 12-year-olds. So it's school-age children. But we have anyone from someone who's working fast food to someone who has to go into work at YLS, to nurses, people that work at the health department. And so when we saw that need, and there were multiple hospitals and medical facilities that reached out to us and said, our nurses have to come to work. They have no one to watch their kids. Can you help us? And we knew we had to pivot our services in that moment to be able to do that. Did I answer your question? Anything else?
Yes. Stacy, so when you were a YLS member, how was the involvement of the group? Like, were they really active, or was just a meeting once a month? How was it?
Okay, so when and I'm going to join again. I don't know, am I too old?
No. You're welcome.
I probably should still be active right now and be attending these meetings. So when was the first year that it was started? Was it about 5 years ago, Catherine? Do you remember? Angel?
It was about 10 or 11 years ago now.
How long?
I'm 10, around 10 years.
Oh, I was way off. Angel's like, no, it was like 10 years ago. Okay, so when I was on, I remember I went to several social events, like happy hours, and you know, at the time, I don't remember there being lunch and learns, or I would have absolutely gone and attended those, and maybe they were, and I just didn't follow it. I remember I loved meeting people in the community that I'd always heard who they were, but I never really was able to work with them. And then this kind of gave us the ability to kind of come together for a common cause and work on a project together. So I really liked that. I liked being able to serve our community, not just through the YMCA, but, you know, do it through another nonprofit. I mean, obviously I serve on several boards, so I'm able to do that, but this was just something that I felt was a way to hang out with my friends, but also give back to the community at the same time. So I would say those are the memories that I have, you know, from being on it, because I was on it about 5, 6 years ago for a couple of years. And then I should definitely renew that.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, we definitely think that's one of the benefits of being a YLS member, that opportunity of meeting new people, and maybe, like you mentioned, those people that are famous in our community, but we might not have that opportunity to meet them otherwise. So it's great that that's one of the things that you mentioned.
Yeah, and I will say another thing about it is that you're targeting a younger demographic that is kind of getting their feet wet with philanthropy and with passion for our community. And so when you get them kind of at a younger age, I'll be 40 in 2 weeks, so that wouldn't be but when you get them at a younger age, I feel like you're kind of showing them this is what our community does, because I think a lot of times, at least for the YMCA, people don't realize that we're a nonprofit. They don't realize the community outreach that we do. And I think the same goes for the United Way, because people would say, what does the United Way do? You know, I get the same thing with the Junior League. What does the Junior League do? You know, and I think that YLS gives you an opportunity to teach and cultivate these philanthropists at a younger age and get them engaged at a younger age. And it gives them an opportunity to see all of the partners that you work with and maybe find a passion that they didn't realize that they had. So whether it's you know, childhood literacy, whether it's, you know, health, wellness, I mean, it's any number of things, just being exposed to volunteer. I remember, I have a story. sorry if this is good, if I'm hijacking this, but I went to, through YLS, I went to do, it wasn't a food bank, but we were serving at the Talbot House. Catherine, I believe you were there. And I brought my husband, and I got to know some of the clients, and I sparked up a little friendship with one of the ladies. I ended up bringing her a little Valentine's Day gift and checking in on her. And I would have never had that opportunity to do that had it not been for this program. And I'd never been to the Talbot House before, but it's become something I'm super passionate about. And I probably want to get more involved with the Talbot House.
I'll just say, hopping back in on here, I'm thinking about the volunteer opportunities that we've been able to have through YLS. I've learned about several different organizations from those that I wouldn't fall into a category that would require one of their services, but because I was able to go and volunteer, then I learned like, oh, that's what this particular organization is doing, and this is specifically how the United Way is working with this organization, and this is the kind of assistance that they're providing. And I think that's a huge benefit to YLS members. It's a benefit to the organizations because they get to see some of the people that are giving to the United Way and supporting these kinds of issues in the community. So I think that that's super important. And obviously, Stacy, you're welcome to join back in on these YLS volunteer events as well, and come out and learn about maybe something you don't know in the community. I mean, you've got SPCA, you've got all these other things going on, so you probably know a lot. But I would definitely say that that's a big part of the benefit of being involved with YLS for me, is just getting to know the different organizations and seeing the work that they're doing and learning about what they're offering the community through United Way, and what we're able to partner with them and provide. And does anyone else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but Stacy and Angel, I just wanted to piggyback off you all to advise you are absolutely correct with the experience of being a YLS member, being able to see so many other services that are provided that we traditionally may not have even thought to be a part of. And the beauty about seeing some of that, I know the beauty, everything's beautiful. Everything's beautiful. But one of the awesome things about that is that sometimes when we're running into people, whether we're shopping at Publix or working out at the gym, we may hear a story where someone may need the help. And oftentimes we can refer them to a service, but if we know that there's a service that's being provided and maybe we can't think of the organization right off top, we can always advocate on behalf of 211. Because 211 is our 911 for United Way. So we may not necessarily know exactly the name of that program or that service, but we can call 211, we can text 211, and have those resources right at our fingertips, whether they're text to us, whether we have a 24-hour specialist on the line to speak with us in whatever language, whether it's English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, to be able to give us that information that can help us in our immediate time of need, especially even now with our current pandemic. There's just so many services that are needed right now for our community, childcare being one of them. Thank you so much, Stacy, for tirelessly working to assist those who are needing those services. And also other services. I mean, moms are being home with their children around the clock. There may not be summer programs. So just knowing that there are other mental services out there to assist in this time of need as well. So I'm just so grateful that we have 211 as an additional referral line to assist those in our Tri-County area.
Definitely, that's something we want to build with YLS. We want them to feel empowered, that they could be advocates for United Way no matter where they go. It could be in their community, it could be in their church, it could be in their workplace, that they feel that they know what they're talking about. And that's one of the purposes of this Lunch and Learn. We just want to share all the information, and we would just want to equip everyone with all the knowledge they can, because they never know who's going to need assistance. It could be them, it could be somebody in their family. And that's what we want to provide, all the information and tools to be advocates for everyone.
It's free marketing. It's free marketing. Word of mouth is sometimes the best marketing. And you get, I was exposed to it. I think I went to an event you had at Mason's Live, and I went with Alice brought me and was like, you need to come. And we went years ago. And I was like, okay. And you kind of get them in with like a fun type of thing. And then you're hooked because you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you guys did all of this stuff. So and you just find an area where you feel your heart kind of pulls you in that area. And for me, it was the Talbot House.
I gotta say, Stacy, I was blown away by the YMCA and the way that you guys jumped into that childcare, because I got to hear about it in the CIT, and I even after I got off of that, I'm sitting at home and I'm just going, how in the world, like, and who would have thought that that was something that the community would have a need for, and that everything would kind of just come together so quickly, kind of just like it fell apart so quickly. 1 minute everyone's going to work and everything is fine, and then the next minute it's like, don't leave your house, and but you still got to go to work. So that I just got to say, kudos to you guys at the Y for really stepping up for the community and filling that need, because I don't know how else that would have gotten done. And I obviously the library's closed. Like, you can't drop your kids off at the library and be like, all right, they're going to take care of you all day. Like, no. But thank you guys for stepping in and making that possible for those people that really needed that service. I'm still just like, wow, that's a thing. And I would not have known about that if I had not been on the CIT and involved with United Way, because I didn't have any kids to send to the daycare. So I wouldn't have known, but that was really solid. Just a great thing that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it was really interesting too, because when we found out that school was not going back, we had about 3 days to figure out, okay, we're going to do distance learning, and we have a weekly schedule, and they go to classes. I mean, they same group, but they have their classes, and we're doing their lessons with them, because these parents, if they're working an 11-hour shift, or they're not going to go home and then what, they're going to do all their. So we did that, and we were doing free swim lessons with some grant funding that we got. So we tried to pivot as seamlessly as possible. There were some bumps along the way, but nothing too crazy. So it's really been rewarding, and it's been hard, but it's been a joyful time too. As weird as that sounds, it's been a silver lining in this whole thing.
I'm gonna put Angel on the spot a little bit. We've mentioned CIT a couple of times. How long have you been part of a CIT group, and can you explain a little bit about what that process looks like for a volunteer?
Okay. So I have been involved on a community investment team, I believe, for 4 years now. I think 4 years. This is the first year that I've chaired my little education team 5. So what that is that's the whole process of going through and evaluating each of those partner services and making sure that the partner is providing the services that United Way is funding, and making sure that money's being used properly, that there's no scandal, and that everything is where it's supposed to be, so that when the United Way turns around and goes out and talks to donors, you can actually say, hey, we've evaluated this program. We know what we're doing. We know where your money is going. We can show you where that money is going. And people in your community have looked at this organization and said, hey, they're solid. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We're getting results, not just we're feeling good about it, but we're actually getting the results that we've wanted to get. And so that, as a volunteer, makes me feel good, because then I know, okay, I'm doing an important task, and we're splitting up a lot of money and deciding where a lot of funding is going. So I think as a volunteer, you take it seriously because you know that people are putting their money towards funding this service. And then I think it gives, the United Way that accountability to the community and to the donors who have said, I'm giving you this money to make the best use of it. And it gives the United Way a way to say, hey, we're doing our part to make sure that your funds are being handled appropriately and that nothing is out of place. And so it's the best way that I can think of to see how the organization works. I learned so much about the United Way going through this process because I was able to see, okay, so we're in this part of it, and we're looking at the organization. So we know what the organization is supposed to be doing. I have an idea about what that's supposed to be. Okay, now we've gone out, we've met with this organization. They've shown us what they're doing. They've shown us, oh, well, we're supposed to be educating kids and we're supposed to be trying to get them to the next grade level. Well, we're using these tests and these results to show that, hey, this is what we're doing. These are the results that we've gotten back. This is where our students are. And they have that information and they can show that to you. And then we get to come back in and say, okay, so based on that information, these are the recommendations that we make for these different services. These people are still doing exactly what they said that they were doing. We have faith in them. Or maybe perhaps sometimes these people are not doing exactly what we think they should be doing. Maybe the United Way should look at putting that money into a different organization that can fund this particular thing that we're trying to get done. And then being able to celebrate at the end and know that, hey, for another year, another fiscal year, this organization is going to be there providing the service, and we can trust them to do with the money what they said that they were going to do, and we're going to get those results back that we were expecting to get back, and sometimes even better than we were expecting to get back. So I got nothing but love for the community investment teams. And I always enjoy being a part of CIT and seeing the progress in different organizations and just the changes and seeing how things work like that. So that's my CIT input right there.
Hey, Sarbeth, I noticed that you're here. I just wanted to ask, is there something that you would like us to help you with, like maybe growing YLS in Highlands County? Like, is there anything that you would like to share, or how can we help you grow this in Highlands County?
Hey guys, for y'all who don't know me, I'm the Highlands County Area Coordinator at United Way, and I am so excited that we had this Lunch and Learn virtually because I think that would be a great step in getting some Highlands County people involved. And I think especially with the End Hunger Initiative that's starting to come to Highlands County with our first 2 food drops, we saw a lot more younger people wanting to be involved and wanting to know more about United Way. So I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully getting some YLS members in Highlands County involved, and I think inviting them to another virtual Lunch and Learn would be a great place to start. And I'm also ready and willing to take any suggestions with anything that you guys might have for me. I have my first campaign for Highlands County coming up here in a couple of weeks, and as a part of that campaign, we're able to send a lot of different blurbs of information via email. So I think one of the emails that we're going to send out is about our different affiliate groups like the Young Leader Society. I think YLS is just something that Highlands County people don't really know a ton about, and even if they were going to be able to get involved, a lot of the events are in Polk County, so it's not as convenient, but I think letting them know that we are starting to do some things virtually, and I know it's not because it was probably the first choice, but that's kind of the beauty in all of this stuff is that we get to get a lot more people involved because we are doing things in a way that's more convenient for them. So I don't know if y'all have any suggestions, please let me know, but I'm very excited about starting to promote YLS more in Highlands County. And I really do think probably within the next year, we're gonna get a few members who are really wanting to be involved. And if you have any questions about Highlands County, please let me know.
Thank you for sharing.
So I think we're good. I didn't have any more questions. And I think everyone else pretty much works for United Way, with the exception of Stacy. So, yeah, if no one else has any questions or comments that you wanted to add to the record, I'm probably going to sign off now.
I think we're good. Thank you, guys.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Angel. Stacy.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.